Morning members. So today, unlike most other days, we're going to do some seed sowing. These are Billbergia seeds which I've hybridized, and the product is some new seeds which is currently washed and soaking, removing the mucilage outer coating or the gelatinous clear coating which is coating the seeds, and especially these ones, which is from Billbergia El Capitan, were absolutely coated in a really thick mucilage coating on the outside. These have been soaking now for 3 days, which is ample for Billbergias. Sometimes neoregelias, for example, need a lot longer, and I don't do too many other varieties that need to be soaked, and I wouldn't normally soak Billbergia seeds so much, except these were really large seeds with lots of casings. So they've been soaking, as I said. Now this is day 3. Behind is their sterile peat ready to go in. So the next step from here, and as you can see there's a tag in each one because there's multiple different new grexes that have come from the same seed parent. So what I'll be doing now will be giving them a really good shake and just one final really big rinse, just to make sure the seeds all clean. Now with Billbergia seeds, because these ones are getting planted straight away, now they have been soaking for 3 days, what will be happening is they'll go straight into their mix instead of drying first. I usually dry neoregelia seeds because I end up with so many, whereas Billbergia there's just not normally enough, except possibly this batch. There's quite a lot in there, so I'll probably do 2 trays full of that one, otherwise we'll end up with too many seedlings in the same space. So I've given them a really good shake, filled them back up, rinsed them, shaken them again. That's just helped to remove more of the outer layer, and so what remains is some reasonably clean seed in the bottom, but most of the debris itself is gone. So from there, what I like to do is give it a really good swirl around, gets all the seed moving, and then sprinkling it all over the mix so that the seeds are well dispersed, and that way they're not all clumped together. And then they've already been watered, soaking for days, so they're going to germinate really quickly. So that's 5 new grexes all sown. It's a little bit howdy-doody that lot was. Nice gap between most of the seeds. Gives them plenty of chance to grow with the least amount of mould. Lids go on these now, and very quickly we'll see the germination, which I'll show you now. So on the windowsill, which is, as you can see, packed, these are all new grexes of different Billbergias mostly. These ones, for example, have already reached the top of the lids of these larger containers. These ones were planted just on the 14th, so 2 weeks ago. Really good growth on those. It's quite a large variety of Billbergia, so I expect these seedlings to be quite large. So still got several years work ahead of it yet. Little seedlings that weren't planted as long ago, these ones are just last week's. Good germination rate, no mildew, no mould, no anything, and all I do with these is rotate them on the windowsill so that they're not all leaning in the same direction. These are Alcantaras, which are tiny little seedlings, but they were planted back at the beginning of October, 14th of October. So these ones are about 6 weeks old, doing really well. Could prick them out, but I'm not going to. It's too warm at this time of year. I find they get damaged too easily. So what I did plant, which was some Aussie Red Tiger little seeds, wanted to see what would happen. And we can all see what's happening. They're all albino. So this whole lot, it was a test. They are striated plants with a marginated edge, and because they were pollinated by birds and bees in the garden, I wanted to see whether any of them would be different or viable. None of them will be. They'll all be tossed out in comparison with another striated neoregelia. which has got some good potential in this batch. There are some variegated and striated little bit seedlings in here. So next week I will be very carefully pricking out the striated or variegated seedlings and moving them into their own separate little mix. There's lots of Billbergia babies growing well. So this windowsill gets the warmth, but it doesn't get the direct light, which is great. Now the most recent seedlings that went down are these ones here. Again, doing amazingly well in such a short period of time. You can hear my ghosts in the background, apologies. They're not happy they've been separated. So these ones were planted 3 weeks ago. And again, all doing really well. So I've got, I estimate about 20 new Grecs, I guess, in total. So it's 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, take that back, 26 Grecs growing here on the windowsill, plus the 5 new ones as well. So around 30 Grexes this year. My goodness, not going to do any more because I do have others out in the garden as well. No more. 30 new Grecs. And I'm struggling just to manage the 10 or so Grecs that I did a couple of years ago, finding space for them. This will be my last Billbergia year for a couple of years, I'm thinking. But when they grow so well, some of these I've waited several years to get the pollen to do the crosses that I specifically wanted to do. Waiting for plants to mature and then grow. There's also some Varisha here as well, but predominantly these are the Varisha in here. Little babies. It'll be a lot slower. Billbergias grow a lot faster. See, even these guys were only planted 7 days ago. This little batch, that's 7 days later. So yeah, 30 new Grecs is on the go. Lots of new hybrids. We'll see how they all turn out. Many of these will be eventually culled down to just a couple out of each Grecs. And then they'll get moved from here now out to the bigger garden, but not until this hot weather's gone. So not until autumn. So these guys will continue to grow in a different space. I'll move them to a cooler garden, into one of the coolest seedling houses up the top. And that's my day, as usual. Bye now.